Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself. The establishment has trillions of dollars at stake in this election. For those who control the levers of power in Washington and for the global special interest, they partner with these people that don't have your good in mind. Our campaign represents a true existential threat like they haven't seen before. This is not simply another 4-year election. This is a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. The political establishment that is trying to stop us is the same group responsible for our disastrous trade deals, massive illegal immigration, and economic and foreign policies that have bled our country dry. The political establishment has brought about the destruction of our factories and our jobs as they flee to Mexico, China, and other countries all around the world. It's a global power structure that is responsible for the economic decisions that have robbed our working class, stripped our country of its wealth, and put that money into the pockets of a handful of large corporations and political entities. This is a struggle for the survival of our nation, and this will be our last chance to save it. This election will determine whether we're a free nation or whether we have only the illusion of democracy, but are in fact controlled by a small handful of global special interests rigging the system, and our system is rigged. This is reality. You know it, they know it, I know it, and pretty much the whole world knows it. The Clinton machine is at the center of this power structure. We've seen this firsthand in the WikiLeaks documents, in which Hillary Clinton meets in secret with international banks to plot the destruction of U.S. sovereignty in order to enrich these global financial powers, her special interest friends, and her donors. Honestly, she should be locked up. The most powerful weapon deployed by the Clintons is the corporate media, the press. Let's be clear on one thing. The corporate media in our country is no longer involved in journalism. They're a political special interest, no different than any lobbyist or other financial entity with a total political agenda, and the agenda is not for you, it's for themselves. Anyone who challenges their control is deemed a sexist, a racist, a xenophobe. They will lie, and then again, they will do worse than that. They will do whatever is necessary. The Clintons are criminals, remember that. This is well documented, and the establishment that protects them has engaged in a massive cover-up of widespread criminal activity at the State Department and the Clinton Foundation in order to keep the Clintons in power. They knew they would throw every lie they could at me and my family and my loved ones. They knew they would stop at nothing to try to stop me. Nevertheless, I take all of these slings and arrows gladly for you. I take them for our movement so that we can have our country back. I knew this day would arrive. It's only a question of when. And I knew the American people would rise above it and vote for the future they deserve. The only thing that can stop this corrupt machine is you. The only force strong enough to save our country is us. The only people brave enough to vote out this corrupt establishment is you, the American people. Our great civilization has come upon a moment of reckoning. I didn't need to do this, folks, believe me. I built a great company, and I had a wonderful life. I could have enjoyed the fruits and benefit of years of successful business deals and businesses for myself and my family, instead of going through this absolute horror show of lies, deceptions, malicious attacks. Who would have thought? I'm doing it because this country has given me so much, and I feel so strongly that it's my turn to give back to the country that I love. I'm doing this for the people and for the movement, and we will take back this country for you, and we will make America great again.
Washington is panicking over the president's latest effort to create a rational foreign policy, but the Ukraine impeachment effort trudges forward. You've heard endlessly on cable news, it's unprecedented that the president would seek political gain from a conversation with a foreign leader. Well, turns out it's happened before. Back in 2000, we can report, President Bill Clinton had a conversation with Tony Blair of the UK and asked him directly to intercede in a dispute between British Airways and two American carriers. The president, at the time, was much more direct than President Trump was in his conversation with the Ukrainian leader. This is Bill Clinton back then, I'm quoting, "In a political season, it would be big over here to get this open sore resolved. If you could have somebody take a look at it," he asked. Tony Blair responded that he would. Now, is this a big deal? Not really. Is it nakedly political? Is it an effort to use a foreign country to influence the outcome of an election in a presidential year? Well, yes, it is, obviously. Incidentally, it didn't take long for us to find that transcript. We only had to dig through old Clinton transcripts for about 15 minutes. They're all kept. They're all online, by the way. There are probably a lot more examples, and if we find them, we'll bring them to you. But the point is, anyone commenting on this, anyone staring at the screen, and there are countless people who fit this description, and telling you, this has never happened before, it's outrageous. None of them took the time to check. Because whenever they're telling you that something is without precedent, you can be certain it happens every day here.
Michael Atkinson is the person entrusted to investigate the whistleblower complaint and bring it to the attention of officials. He was questioned Friday in private by members of Congress conducting an impeachment inquiry of President Donald Trump. The whistleblower alleges Mr. Trump used a congratulatory phone call to Ukraine's newly elected president to press for an investigation of former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter, who sat on the board of a Ukrainian gas company. No evidence has yet been found that the Bidens did anything illegal or unethical. Newly revealed text messages among diplomats appear to back the whistleblower's claims. Career U.S. diplomat Kurt Volker texted an aide to the Ukrainian president the day of the Trump-Zelensky phone call, saying he, quote, heard from the White House, assuming President Z convinces Trump he will investigate, get to the bottom of what happened in 2016, we will nail down a date for a visit to Washington.
China should start an investigation into the Bidens.
One day after openly calling for China to investigate his political foe, Trump Friday denied there was any quid pro quo in his conversation with Ukraine's president.
I don't care about Biden's campaign, but I do care about corruption. His campaign, that's up to him. Politics, that's up to them. I don't care about politics.
Trump acknowledged that Democrats in the House of Representatives have enough votes to impeach him, but not enough in the Senate to remove him from office. Vanderbilt University's Thomas Schwartz says removal requires reaching a high threshold.
It would be pretty phenomenal because you're not just talking about a majority of the Senate voting to convict him. A majority of the Senate voted to convict Bill Clinton, but they didn't hit two-thirds. So two-thirds is really the phenomenal, or there's the very large number you need to convict in the Senate.
Mitt Romney is the lone Republican senator to publicly criticize Trump, tweeting that the president's appeal to China and Ukraine to investigate Biden is wrong and appalling, and that it strains credulity to suggest it is anything other than politically motivated. Steve Reddish, VOA News, Washington.
To protecting and improving the environment for future generations. My Lords and members of the House of Commons, my government's priority has always been to secure the United Kingdom's departure from the European Union on the 31st of October. My government intends to work towards a new partnership with the European Union based on free trade and friendly cooperation. My ministers will work to implement new regimes for fisheries, agriculture and trade, seizing the opportunities that arise from leaving the European Union. An immigration bill ending free movement will lay the foundation for a fair, modern and global immigration system. My government remains committed to ensuring that resident European citizens who have built their lives in and contributed so much to the United Kingdom have the right to remain. The bill will include measures that reinforce this commitment. Steps will be taken to provide certainty, stability, and new opportunities for the financial services and legal sectors. My government's new economic plan will be underpinned by a responsible fiscal strategy, investing in economic growth while maintaining the sustainability of the public finances, and to strengthen the rehabilitation of offenders. The integrity and prosperity of the Union that binds the four nations of the United Kingdom is of the utmost importance to my government. My ministers will bring forward measures to support citizens across all the nations of the United Kingdom. My government remains committed to working with all parties in Northern Ireland to support the return of devolved government and to address the legacy of the past. My government will take steps to protect the integrity of democracy and the electoral system in the United Kingdom. Laws will be taken forward to help implement the National Health Services. As the United Kingdom leaves the European Union, my government will ensure that it continues to play a leading role in global affairs, defending its interests and promoting its values.